All right, so we're going through the, I guess, build process of a Seblod site and going through different content type construction or content object construction through this. And James is going to show us exactly how it's all done. Go ahead, James.
All right, so for this example, what we're going to do is build a very simple staff directory that you might use on any website. And our particular example here is going to be a directory for consultants. So we're going to create a content object that allows individual consultants to log in and edit their own bio information, and the particular fields that will be associated with that consultant content type will be a profile image, body text for their bio information, what company they belong to, what their position is, and their links for social media sites.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so start first by creating a new category, and this is just going to be for all of our user information to go in. So just to keep it nicely segregated. So
I might just add that we've just installed Seblod on this site. So this is a fresh Joomla install with Seblod on it.
Okay, so this is going to be our staff directory category. Okay, so go into components and go into Seblod. And first of all, before we do anything, we want to go and create a new app folder. And this is really important for later on if we want to package this up and install it somewhere else. So it's going to take the entire contents of the folder that we create, anything that we put in that folder, and that's going to become what it zips up and makes installable. So we'll call this staff directory. And you can add an icon or change the color of what pops up. So we'll just make this nice and fluoro green.
Lovely color.
Mm-hmm. And staff directory. Make that black. All right. So save and close that. Right, now we need to go into our form and content types. Right, so you can see here these are the content objects that Joomla comes standard with: articles, categories, users, and user groups. You're familiar with that already. So we're going to create a new one, and you get this modal pop up, which is asking you what type of content you want to create. So we said that we want to be able to users to be able to log in and edit their own stuff. So it's going to have the behavior of a user. So we click on user. All right. Consultant, and because it's a user, Seblod has already added a few fields that all users have already to this content type, which is handy. Strange order though, so that should be down there. Okay, now we add our new fields. So what did we say? We're going to add a user bio field. So I'm going to just prefix everything with CONS for consultant. Okay, and the type of field is going to be
image, I guess. There's a lot of different fields there.
Heaps, yeah, absolutely. Information for the label.
So that's what a user will see when they're entering something in.
Yep. And there's a bunch of different settings here that you can go through and in your own time have a look at. Basically just changes the way where images are stored and whatever. So each new consultant, their images are going to be stored in their own folder within the images folder. That's the default, but you can make it so that all images are just stored together in the images folder or whatever you want to do. And that folder will be, the name of that folder will be the ID of the
user ID.
Yeah. Okay. So our next field.
So I can see there's quite a bit of a setup process in regards to setting up a different content object throughout the sites.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you need to create all the fields manually, but once you've got them, then everything else is really rapid because all the contents are already segregated into its fields. So then pulling it out, making lists and everything, yeah, it's really, really quick. So So their company. And let's just add as well just the social media stuff. So let's say a field for them to put their Twitter handle. And these are just text fields. And their LinkedIn address. Okay, and then save and close. All right, so you'll see that they're all added to that form. So that's the back end. So if we save and close this now, or before we do that, really importantly, we need to make sure that what's going on?
Not selectable.
There we go. Staff directory.
So now it's saving it.
So what we're seeing there are our new custom fields that we've just created amongst all the default custom fields associated with users. Is that right?
That's right. Yep. Yep. Or it's not every user field, but they're the ones that are necessary to create a user. Like I think Joomla requires you to have, a password field and a confirmed password field. A user needs to be associated with an email address, because that's the way the Joomla works. If you don't have that, then things, I think, will go badly for you.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to have to come back to this because currently we've only edited the admin form, but I just want to show you what we've done there. So if we go into the user manager and go add new user, no, we don't want to do that. We actually just want to go to the user manager, not the user manager, the article manager, and click new. Sorry, bad information. User manager, because we created a user, and go new, and then you'll get this pop up and you'll see our new user content object there, and click on that. And now we've got our custom form that we created. So as we saw there before, name, login name, password, confirm password, email, confirm email, and then the custom fields that we created down the bottom here. Okay, so let's just add some information in there. I'll put my own information in.
Wow. And it was only the other day that I was doing something similar to this using all the Joomla core components, and to create new extra user fields was quite a process because you had to go in there and modify the XML, and it wasn't a very simple process. This is so much easier.
And if you're scared of code, opening up an XML file, finding out where that XML is supposed to reside, understanding what you're modifying as well is a little bit daunting. This
Absolutely.
is more of a click through WYSIWYG, not really WYSIWYG, but through a UI, which makes it a little bit friendlier, I guess.
Well, just the fact that it's all stored, it's all done within Joomla. You don't need to go to a text editor to modify any code, not yet at least. That is certainly a big plus.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've filled out that form now. Do you have a profile picture I can upload?
Take a screen. That won't work. Let's flag. Oh, that would do.
Sure. Okay.
It's a picture of a llama, I think.
Excellent. Very true to life. Save and close. All right, so we've added our content in there, but we need to now. We want to look at how that information is now going to be displayed in the front end of our website. So let's go back into Sebload, Form and Content Type Manager, and Consultant. And now we need to go to the content view. So this is what shows in the full article view in the front end. Okay.
So this is probably where I get confused. On the screen here on the left, we can see all of these like areas or something that we can make display in different divs, I guess, within the template.
Yeah, okay, so that's the Seb1 template. That is intended to make things easier because it's all the div structures there and it collapses and does all this really neat stuff for you. But yeah, when you're looking at it, it's like, oh my God, where do I put my fields? If you click this positions thing up here, it actually explains to you. I have no idea why that's doing that. There is an image there which will show you where your field will appear if you put it in that particular area on this. Yeah. I've kind of buggered this up because I should have set the app folder first, and then all of my fields would be in that app folder. But because I created all my fields and then changed that folder, they're not in there. So I'll just show you how you would go about fixing something like that. If you go into fields here in Seblod, and we can do a really neat search now because we prefixed all of our fields with the right thing.
That's a nice little tip as well.
Yeah, definitely try and come up with a common prefix for each content object. Then we can batch them into our staff directory folder. Problem solved. So do you want me to show you the simpler content? You know, if this is daunting, should show you how to get that?
No, well, yeah, you might as well, because you were talking about that in the interview.
Yep. Sure. Okay, so if we go back to seblod.com, I can show you the very lovely products.
And this is their app store where you can download different types of content objects.
That's right. They're not content objects. These are all sorts of different plugins, from new types of fields to templates to things like that. I don't actually think you can buy packaged content objects on here yet, but that's certainly the intention.
That'll be really cool. So they may be like a real estate content object, all pre-configured and ready to go.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So here I've just filtered by templates. This is all Seblod, by the way. And the one that we want is this one here. So this is built by the Seblod team. Minima.
Kind of says it all.
Yeah.
Is all of this... what was my question? Is all of this checkout process built with Seblod as well?
Yeah, it is. This is all running off Seblod e-commerce, which is not available to the public yet. It's still something that's under development, but it's really exciting to see, going through this checkout process and seeing what is eventually going to be introduced to Seblod, which is something that is incredibly powerful, a fully customizable, ability to create an online store and that sort of thing. So, yeah. Hopefully soon it'll be available. I've been begging for it for ages.
That could be a real game changer as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly as we were alluding to before, with some of the e-commerce components that for whatever reason haven't been able to keep up with the Joomla development cycle. Having something like this where you can just have full control over everything, custom content objects that are products that you're selling. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So I'm just going to save that to your desktop. And let's go and install this. So a Seblod template is installed exactly the same way as you would a Joomla template. Not through the update panel, but through the upload package file. And down the bottom there. Okay. And there's an additional step there where we go into the template manager. So there's Seb1, that's the core one. And you can see, 44 positions. That's how many of those different things that you saw before.
Quite complex, but gives you a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to call this one minimal. And so that's where you select the template you've just installed and the app folder and the type. So this is going to be a content/form. It's not going to be a list. Okay, that's good. That's there now. So if we go back into our content view, and change our template from Seb1 to Minima. Isn't that lovely?
Great.
A lot simpler.
Yeah, very minimal.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll add in our fields just like that, just by clicking the cross arrow. And we probably want to also show the user name. So let's just go into filter, change that filter to all app folders, and scroll down to find your user name field, and we'll add that in there too. So what we haven't added is a bio field, but we might skip that for now because this will give you the what you need to know. All right. So these fields now are going to appear in the front end when we go to that particular article or user profile page. Okay, so instead of just creating a link just to that particular page, I want to show you how to create, the start of what a directory would look like. So to do that, we need to have a list and search function. Click New, and it's going to be, we want the output of our items to be in a kind of a blog format, so just chunks of content running down the page, and the type of content we're searching for is a consultant. So click Create. And we'll call this the staff directory. We also want to save this in our app folder. All right, and so what sort of fields do we want to search for with our consultant? We probably want to be able to search for a particular user by name. Yep. So we'll add in the user name field, not the username field. And some of the core ones that we did, probably the most useful one there is their company. So we want to be able to search, filter people by what company that they're in. Okay. Now to execute our search, we need a button. So there's some ones I prepared earlier. Not really. This is what they prepared earlier. So we'll chuck in a search button there.
What are those 4 select fields that you were just using?
Up here?
Yes.
Okay, so this is where you select which app folder you're looking in. So if we change to staff directory, here are all the fields that we haven't. Let's just reset that. Here are all the fields that we've got in that directory. These are all different app folders that you find in Joomla. So Seblot has have mimicked all of that structure for you. This next filter here is are the different content types and different forms that exist.
And I can see consultant is amongst them.
That's down there. Yep, absolutely. Here are the different types of fields. So you can filter by, I'm just looking for a submit button field. I need to change that back to all app folders so I can get them there. Or here is just a simple, search by the first letter of the name of the field. So there's just different ways of navigating the ridiculous amount of fields that Seblot includes for free with a standard Seblot installation. Okay, so there's our search type. That's good that we've put our search parameters in there. You get this funny little CCK field here. Just don't worry about that. It's hidden. It doesn't show in the front end. It's just something that Seblot uses to associate your search with your content object. Now, we need to go now into what's going to show in the front end. So it's kind of, this one isn't so intuitive. You saw that the item button was blanked out before. So we needed to click on list. And then as soon as we clicked on list, it says there's nothing available for this view because the item view is what you assign fields to when you're doing a blog layout. A list, if we'd said that we wanted to show something in a table, or if we had a few more lists templates installed, we'd go to list, but we're doing item. Again, we can use the minima template. So you saw we used it before for the content type to show the actual full content, but now we're going to use it again for our list type. And we add our fields in here. And again, get that username field.
And when you say list type, I guess you're kind of referring to like the blog layout or the category layout, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so I suppose I mixed the two together because really a list page, like let's say that we just want to create a page that we don't see any search options. We just see all of our stuff there on the page, right? All that is a search, a search and results page, but the search is hidden and the values are already predefined. So if you think of it like that, that's why search and list are together like that, because it's just, the only difference is you're hiding the search form.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so here are all the fields that we're going to see in the results of our search. Okay, so we've got our search fields, we've got our results fields. Now let's have a look at how it looks in the front end. So we'll need to create a new menu item, and we'll call it staff directory. And we'll make it a Seblod list. Select our list. Now we can change whether we want it to search on first load. So this is what you would do if you were just creating a list page, right? You'd say, yes, I want it to search on the first load. And in the options over here, you'd hide the search form. But we don't want that. So that should do us, I think. So let's click save and have a look. So there we go. We'll probably need to add in another consultant to make this a little bit more meaningful. If you've used that before, we might just have to. Again, we'll use Mr. Llama.
Astro Boy soup.
Should I name that?
That would do.
Okay, cool. All right, now we've got another content item in there. Let's refresh this page. All right, so now it's not filtering anything because we haven't set our search parameters. So let's just say we only want to find Peter. We only find Peter.
Very cool.
Or if we just want to find people who work at Loudbox Media. Or PB Web Dev. And that's it. So you can start to see it sort of come to life like that. Now, we could have made these select boxes like drop-down fields or whatever. Sky's the limit of what you can do there.
And then again, those drop-down boxes that you could define for the company name, they could all be relationships of other different content types as well, right?
Absolutely. So there's it's too hard. It'd take 10 minutes, but you could create, let's say, a content object where you would create a new organization. An organization would be a content object, right? So then you'd enter in all your organizations, and then you'd have what's called a dynamic select field, which is just looking for all of the organizations and popping them in a select field. And so you add an organization, it'll appear in the drop down, and then you can assign a user to that organization. Really nicely.
Yeah, I saw that in your YouTube tutorials as well. So it's a really good start and really good overview. So I'll point other people and people watching this video over to your YouTube channel as well, where they can get more about Seblod. Awesome. Thank you, James.
No worries.